Hey guys, Romeo Hertz here today to do Naruto chapter 632 review. So this week's chapter, and before I start, I apologise for the fact that last week there was no chapter. I was really ill. I will do that chapter, I will, but I just was really ill all week long. I couldn't really do anything. Wait, chapter 200, yeah. I was really ill, I couldn't do anything, and I couldn't do the chapter review, and to be honest, there wasn't a lot to say. There's a lot of controversy, but there wasn't a lot to say, but I will do it, so just wait for that. It'll probably come out not too long after this one, but I wanted to get this one done. Now, I think we should just jump into this chapter because there's not I think it's official now that I can't put too much investment in Naruto as I used to, and what I mean by that is I can't enjoy it as much as I used to. I get bits, but at the moment I really don't know what the fuck's going on, so I can't really, you know. So anyway, so the first thing is that, you know, we see Team 7 together, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and the other team members are all around. They're saying, like, you know, it's nostalgic, it's all great to see everyone back together, and you know, everyone's talking about Hokage this. Fuck Hinata. Oh shit. I'll talk about the parents for the other chapter review, but basically they're all getting ready now. They're all just. Last week was kind of a setup chapter, even though I wanted another chapter of kind of a bit more development of these relationships. I think they ease into them too easily, considering how much time they've been away from each other. I wanted to see more tension, and I hope to see more tension in these coming fights. Jugo's looking at Sasuke and he doesn't know what Sasuke's thinking, which is interesting because a lot of people still are giving Sasuke the benefit of the doubt in regards to his transformation to a good guy. I'm personally think he at some point will take advantage of the situation. He might get control of some of the Jubi's power. Who knows? We don't really know. But I think if I was him, after the defeat of the Jubi, I'd try and take as much from the Jubi as I can in order to be Hokage, because at this time Naruto is vastly more OP than Sasuke, so we'll have to see. And the Jubi, it's still firing its flower version of its Biju Dama. Yeah, but the Kages, they've got it handled. You know, they've got it on lockdown. The barrier they've set up just won't allow the Jubi's blast to escape. So what will happen is they use it as a kind of funnel. No, not funnel. A chimney. In that the explosion blows up at the base, but the force and the power rises to the top and shoots out, which makes it interesting why the Jubi doesn't like jump out of that motherfucker. But maybe it's just too much for it. But considering this son of a bitch can move mountains and stuff, I'd expect it. But then again, it's not very intelligent at this point. Its intelligence really came when it was interacting with other shinobi of intelligence, and that makes sense for a Biju. Biju are not meant to have that much control over their chakra. They only can use it. The first Hokage makes wood clones, so that each one can open up a section of the barrier so that they can go in and fight the Jubi. So that yeah, so that they can handle it more efficiently. And the Team 7s, the other teams, go in there. Team 7 especially go in there. I really don't know what the fuck Kiba and Shino and Hinata are gonna do, but you know, whatever works. We'll see. But you know, it's Kishimoto. He's been doing them pretty dirty recently. Well, throughout most of Part 2. So the Jubi prepares for another Biju, damn it. But the first Hokage brings down another gate. It's called a Torii gate, really. And it's really used. You see it a lot in a lot of Japanese before usually the entrance of a Japanese shrine, to indicate that you're going to a spiritual place. So he's using it to lock down the Jubi, and it locks down around the Jubi's neck, similar to what Naruto did to the Kyuubi after he got his chakra after their fight. And then Hashirama, and this is surprising. It's surprising and not surprising. Hashirama shows up in front of Madara, and Madara pretty much says, you know, Hashirama, it's good that you showed up, but you're a clone. You're not worth my fucking time. Sorry, this is going to be really boring. I'm just going to wait for the real one to come out and do his business. But I'm confused. I'm like, Madara, for fuck's sake, you've got an objective to do. You've got to complete the Moon's Eye plan. Is that really not your goal anymore? Is it really just to fight Hashirama? Because he really should be going in there to help the fucking Jubi. I don't know what's going on. Madara has been pissing me off since he came back because he's not been doing anything. He's been doing some epic jutsus, some epic stuff, but epic doesn't mean productive. And when I mean productive, I mean productive towards his goals. He hasn't even managed to kill the Kages. That's the worst thing about it. The only people... He hasn't killed anybody since he came back. So far, he's been pretty useless. In the grand scheme of things, Obito's the one who's been killing loads of people before and after the World War. So, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed that Madara isn't getting the fuck involved, but he will later. I'm not sure if he'll be the main villain. I kind of don't want him to be because I just don't have much investment in him. So the first Hokage, his clones and his main self. If you're wondering which is the main first Hokage, it's the one using sage techniques. And they go in, and the Biju, and if you're reading Fairy Tail, this will seem very familiar to you. But the Biju starts making these shitty ass copies of itself, which kind of reminds me of when Sasuke was going to find Juga, and there's all these curse sealed level 2 shinobi, and he had to go take them out before he could find Juga. And these copies range in size and mass, and you know, there's some. They're all kind of humanoid. Some of them are humanoid. Some of them are dog-like, animal-like. I mean, this is the progenitor of all things. So, what the fuck are they actually fighting now? Now that I think about it, are they fighting like the precursors to humans? That's some crazy shit to think about. But Naruto's like, don't be scared. Sasuke and Naruto they're just wrecking shit up. But the Jubi's replicas, the little small ones, they're not fucking around. They're not completely incompetent. Like in the panel where Sasuke and Naruto are fighting them, they're not just taking it like a bitch. They are proactively fighting back, blocking, defending. And then Sakura comes in, and she's reminiscing about, you know, the same shit she always reminisces about when she's feeling useless. And she punches one in the chest. One of the Jubi clones, the Jubi spawn. I'm calling them that because the Jubi reminds me of Sin from Final Fantasy X and Sin spawn. So Jubi spawn. And she's pretty much thinking about her goals were to make sure that her nakama, her teammates, were looking at her back and were appreciating her more. But she also recognizes that Sasuke and Naruto were just streaming along in front of her. But she looks back at like what Tsunade said, you know, that doesn't mean, you know, because you're a medical ninja, you're not really meant to get involved in the fights, but that doesn't mean that you're not meant to be competent at fighting. And she says, you'll inherit my will, and Sakura gets the jewel mark on her head. I forgot what it's called. And basically it knocks the shit out of this Jubi spawn, and the Jubi spawn clears a path of where it's been marked and just goes flying, and then Sakura jumps over this, and she comes down and she makes this massive, absolutely massive kind of explosion, like a fucking meteor, not a meteorite, but a comet just came down and slammed right into the group of them. She must have like fucked up at least 50, maybe even 100 of these sons of bitches. But like, and Naruto's like, shit, fuck me, I'll never piss this bitch off again. Sasuke's like, you know, ha, like whatever, but like, okay, yeah, sure. And the first Hokage recognizes her strength, but Shizune remarks that Sakura has been saving up her chakra for 3 years, and she says that's extremely precise chakra control. Not even I could perform the Hakugo no jutsu. This, I'm going to come back to this point because this actually pisses me off a lot. I don't like this. And there's this massive pretty big Jubis behind her because she's not paying attention. And Naruto does a Futenrasen Shuriken because it's a really fast technique. And then Sasuke uses an Enton Kagetsuchi. And what's really interesting about this Kagetsuchi is that, well, apart from the first time we saw it, no, even the first time we saw it, he had the Susanoo activated, and this is the first time he's grasping like a blade, and he uses it to throw out these kind of needle-like Amaterasu needles, shards, attacks. And these two techniques combine, and they pretty much take care of the Jubi spawn. And Sakura says, and then they meet up again, and Naruto remarks that he's still here. Sasuke, in complete Sasuke fashion, says, "Don't get the fuck in my way, Naruto." And Sakura says she'll become Hokage. Fuck off. Anyway, that's pretty much the chapter. It's pretty much, I wouldn't know what to call this chapter. This chapter's pretty much called Explosion. Yeah, it was an explosion. What did I think? I wasn't very impressed. It was flashy. I admit it was flashy, but flashiness doesn't make it better. Flashiness just makes it flashy. But when you look back at the content of this, ultimately, flashiness is like cool words or cool quotes. But when you look at the context and when you look at the meaning of what you've seen, it might not hold up. And that's one of the things I'm going to be looking at. And one of them is the whole Madara Hashirama thing. One of the, I really cannot appreciate Madara at this point. To me, Madara was simply Kishimoto wanting to bring back a character because he wanted to do something really awesome, but he didn't. He had this really cool idea, and the problem with all ideas, when an author writes themselves into a corner is that they come up with an idea, but they don't know how the idea works in accordance with their story, and then they have to change a lot of stuff, they retcon a lot of stuff, they make a lot of plot holes just to make this idea a possibility, and it really hurts them, and more importantly really hurts the series. It's like a drug, it's like an addiction. It has short-term rewards with long-term consequences, and we're really seeing it here because he hasn't put enough thought into Madara's detail as a character in this setting. We've said this about all the Edo Tenseis, they're kind of useless. I'm still not sure about how the Kages fit in. They made a barrier, okay, but that hasn't really changed anything in the long run. Because all that matters to me is that Naruto and Sasuke defeat the Jubi. Fuck the rest. I couldn't give a shit about the rest because Kishimoto has not developed them enough for me to keep giving them my investment, my value in them. So now let's talk about Sakura and what this chapter does for her. Now I'm going to be honest, I don't like Sakura. I hate Sakura. I hate her so much now. She's been so bad throughout part 2 and not part 1. Part 1 she was still developing. She's been so bad and useless in part 2 that it's completely jaded how I look at her. So I'm going to try and give an unbiased opinion, but it's not going to be foolproof, and I don't think you come watch a YouTube video for an unbiased opinion. You could just watch the chapter and that would be your unbiased opinion right there, and come up with your own opinion. But Sakura's development, to put it simply, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. It's as great as it is that Sakura is stepping up, it's too late. I mean, this is. I like to be clear that I'm very particular about translations. I never use a translation as a direct translation. I only use a translation to understand the meaning of what's being said. So I don't get all semantical about it. But Shizune says that Sakura has been saving up her chakra for 3 years, and this is mind-blowing to me, because it's like there have been so many occasions where people could have died. I mean, it's the same thing with Kakashi when we found out he had the Mangekyo Sharingan all along. There have been so many occasions where people could have died, where Sakura really needed to had not only the situation where it was required for her to step up, but also the convictions in terms of Sasuke, saving Sasuke, retrieving Sasuke, defending Naruto, saving her friends. She's had motives, she's had the ability, and she's had the need to activate this ability a number of times beforehand. And it's very it just makes her uselessness even worse by the fact that she had this ability, she had this much chakra. I mean, saving up for 3 years or no, what the fuck ever. She had this much chakra, but she never used it. Maybe it's like the whole Urza thing where she can only use it once in 100 years. You know, she can only use it after she's gained a certain amount of chakra. And we all know, even though Kishimoto has been retconning a lot of his shit for convenience in terms of chakra reserves and chakra levels, we all know that Sakura doesn't have a lot of chakra. So it kind of makes sense that she has to save up a lot of chakra. Tsunade is from the Senju clan, so it kind of makes sense that she is getting a lot of, she has a huge chakra reserve. Sakura doesn't, so she has to build it up. But still, it's really I can't. Same thing with Kakashi, same thing with Obito. I now look back at all the chapters in which she had these opportunities to do things and think, okay, it's not that she's useless, it's just that she didn't want to use it, which is just worse. And now I'm going to look back at all these chapters with a jaded view, and again, it's an idea that Kishimoto came up with, threw in there to try and vindicate, justify a character's not doing something, and it's kind of backfired in the long term. It has long-term consequences for the series. I don't have any more respect for Sakura just because she's got a power upgrade. Power means nothing in the Naruto world, it's how you use it. She's not using her powers as a ninja. The greatest thing we wanted to see from Sakura was Genjutsu. I said it before, I'll say it again. I always thought that Sakura should have had all of the second Mizukage's abilities at this level that she's at right now, because she probably would have been a water release user. His Genjutsu would have been unique enough that would be different from Sasuke's, so that it would really stand out. And the Mizukage's abilities require a shitload of chakra control, and also require him not to get hurt. So it would have worked perfectly for Kishimoto, who doesn't like to see his female characters get hurt. And it would have been great for the character because it would have made us invest more in her, because she has shinobi combative abilities. I'll say it again. Sakura's abilities are great in any other universe. There's great amount of power. But in the Naruto universe, the whole read underneath the underneath mentality is not good enough. That's pretty much it. I mean, I want to talk about Sasuke and Naruto, but I can't because they're not really doing anything yet. I really want to see what Sasuke can fucking do with his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, because so far he has done nothing new since he got his Mangekyo Sharingan. Even his new Susanoo doesn't have any new abilities from his old one. When he went into third stage with his MS, which he lost instantly, he did have the Black Amaterasu Orb. So he already had all these abilities, he just couldn't use them. So now that he can, it's like, well, what new abilities? I remember Itachi very clearly fucking saying that you can get a fourth ability if you unlock the EMS. What the fuck is it? So I'm waiting, I want to see what happens. I really hope Sasuke delivers, and I really do think Sasuke will make this kind of armor for Naruto. When Naruto goes QB mode, and Sasuke might put his Susanoo armor over Naruto's, which would be really fucking awesome. Anyway, that's me for today. What do I give this review? I give this one upgrade doesn't make a better character, and it's really true. It doesn't make her like. It probably would have been a lot better in terms of Sakura if we saw some training. If we saw her putting the effort in, we saw her having difficulties. We don't know how she's been doing this. But if we saw her struggles to achieve this goal, I could put a lot more investment. Even if I don't like the fact that she's not fighting as a shinobi in the shinobi world, in the standards of the shinobi world, I could have put a lot more emotional investment and value into her abilities, her increase in power, if we had seen her training, if we had seen her putting in the effort, because that effort wouldn't have been wasted, and then I would have felt maybe not sympathy but empathy for Sakura's goals, beliefs and ideals, and recognize that her effort is paying off. I don't see any effort, I just see results. And so that's Romeo Hurts for today. Hope you enjoyed this chapter review. No One Piece this week. It should be out next week. You know, here's praying that Odachi's going to be okay, and he's going to get back to work. Because his artwork, his fucking manga blows my mind every time. Oh my god. So anyway, until next week guys, see you later. Bye.